Hello everybody, welcome back to It's Current Year for another quick battle ladder replay today on the Sword of Torgold map. I'm playing the Norscans, led by a vanilla marauder chieftain, up against the Empire of Letigo, who is rocking King Carl, no doubt up on the Griffin. So we'll get underway and have a look at the battlefields. I really like this map. I think it's got some cool terrain and some open spaces, some woods. It's got a bit of everything, some terrain features. So for my opponent's force, 3 units of pistoliers up the front to do some skirmishing, 2 units of spearmen, 4 units of spearmen, actually 5 units of spearmen. I beg your pardon. One minding the Hellblaster volley gun back here, a unit of greatswords, a unit of halberdiers back here in the rear, as well as 2 units of demigriffs with halberds and a warrior priest who is rocking the Hammer of Sigma and the what's the other prayer that he has got here? I can't quite get the tooltip, and the Shield of Faith, also the Scroll of Shielding for some damage resistance. There is a life mage down here who has taken just Earthblood, so keeping it pretty cheap there. And up in the sky, as we said in the intro, there is Carl himself. So he's rocking, looks like just the Reichland Runefang. He hasn't brought Gal Miraz, which is interesting because you usually see, obviously Gal Miraz gives some anti-large, and obviously you know, Wolfric's very common, and even Throg. You know, there's plenty of, they're a bit of a monster faction, the Norscan, so surprised not to see that. For my own force, we have some Vanguard Norscan Warhounds, as well as some Marauder Horsemen here for my own little bit of counter skirmishing. 2 units of Marauders, 2 units of Marauder Berserkers, 2 units of Marauder Spearmen on the flanks. I actually like these guys with their range mechanic. They actually get some decent stats when they sit in combat, and obviously given they have a bit more melee defense, they tend to do that. 2 units of Marauder Hunters with javelins, obviously anti-large, so great for taking down things like Carl and cavalry. 2 units of Skin Wolves, a Chaos War Shrine Mammoth, and we have the 2 heroes on their chariot. So I have a Firecaster who has taken Fireball and Burning Head, pretty standard, and then we have the Marauder Chieftain who has taken the Flaming Axe of Cormac. So hoping to keep his leadership up, so the base weapon damage and melee attack buffs that grants can remain. So as the forces march up, yeah, Pistoliers are going to be pretty annoying. They do, I believe, just oh no, same range on those two. So the Hounds obviously overextending a little bit here. They might get a bit shot up and probably terror routed. Yeah, they're terror routed by Carl. So that's not a great start, because they would have been handy just to give me some edge in the skirmish fight and just screen the Pistoliers back. But Carl's coming in to do his work here. The Hellblaster rang some shots in and got a few kills. I think took out a couple of unit models on that unit of Horsemasters. So some early damage to my opponent, but I got a little bit of damage back at least with my own skirmish cav. So yeah, we'll call it a draw for now. The Hounds at least didn't take too much damage. They lost a couple of unit models, but it was a quick terror out. So clearly, thankfully they got out of the fight. So bit of a storm in the beaches moment here for the Norscans. We've got to head up this hill. A few shots going into I'm not sure what he's shooting at, whether he's shooting at the Horseman here or he's getting some shots into the War Mammoth. But Carl's going to dive down again and probably just do a bit of a hit and run on the Spearmen here. I do try and sort of just detach some of the Horsemasters, just get some shots in. And these unit of Hounds here are probably going to get terror routed off again, or probably just generally routed off by the Pistoliers because they are a bit isolated. Front lines meet now, and I'm going to charge headlong into this unit of greatswords. The Berserkers, the Demigriffs now do reveal themselves, and this is a massive micro mistake for me at the moment. Both my units of Skin Wolves have been completely forgotten about, and the Demigriff Knights are going to make me pay for it. They're going to jump in on the Marauder Berserkers. Obviously not a large target where you generally be fighting, but still going to beat them handily. I believe that is my burning head going down. It's probably going to do as much damage to me as it did to my opponent, so not a great cast here. I'm not off to a great start. But the Marauder, the Mammoth, however, has pushed through and at least gotten the Hellblast of Volleygun crew to shatter. And on this flank, we have managed to work off these Spearmen with those Marauders. So it's not all going bad. I am sort of finding myself a little overextended with a couple of my hero core. Obviously, the Demigryphs are getting some good value on my Shaman Sorcerer and my Marauder Chieftain, so that's a big micro mistake, and I'm only just realizing that my Skin Wolves have been forgotten about now. Pulling the spears back over here. I don't want to sort of just rush them in. I think I was trying to sort of hoping to maybe bring the Skin Wolves up and around, but again, I'm just being lazy with my micro. Done some pretty good damage on the Demigryphs, but haven't taken a lot of unit models out. I've been able to screen out the Marauder Hunters quite well, and now the Skin Wolves are here, so I say that and they're still not committed, so this has really cost me. I didn't realize it was this bad. I have overchased here, and sadly, with my units of Marauder Horsemen trying to push off the Pistoliers. My Hounds have come back, so I'll look to get them back into the fight, but at the very least, I feel like I'm in the game at this point, and you know, my Skin Wolves haven't taken any damage. They won't trade all that efficiently with Demigryph with halberds, but I figure here at the very least I'm getting a rear charge, and I do have some hunters nearby throwing in, so I'm taking a bit of a gamble here that just my raw damage output can hopefully work out in my favor here. But there is an Earthblood as well as the prayers going down, and we see the stats here on these Demigryphs. You know, a lot of melee attack, flaming damage, which is awful for the Skin Wolves given they regenerate, and that's probably just about my last hope of winning this game, and dealing with those Demigryphs is starting to get away from me. Berserkers here munching through some Spearmen. As I said, the Marauder Spearmen here have actually done quite well. Their stats when they get the boost up are reasonable, and their melee defense means they can actually trade quite effectively with opposing infantry, not just large targets. But the threat at the moment obviously is the Demigryphs. One unit is fleeing, and despite having 14 unit models, are very damaged. But now that my Marauder Cav have been pushed off, there's not going to be anything to sort of force the micro on these guys, and the Jade Wizard may be able to get, or he needs to do it quick, but he might be able to get a final Earthblood down because he's been hunted by that War Mammoth. So despite the fact that I've lost my hero core, my Skin Wolves have been absolutely obliterated, I'm actually feeling okay here because I have 2 units of Marauder Hunters that can put decent amounts of damage into the Demigryph Knights. I have the Marauder Spearmen who can maybe accept a charge, and I still have a War Mammoth with over 7,000 HP, which is a real powerhouse, monster. But then I realized Karl Franz has been off doing something somewhere else as well. I don't know what he's been chasing down. Maybe it was a unit of maybe it was one of those units of Skin Wolves, or maybe it was one of my heroes which he was chasing off. But all of a sudden I'm not feeling so confident because Karl Franz is an absolute beast. The terror routes are going to be very significant now that everything is quite beaten up and quite and obviously my own leadership core is off the field. So the battle lines are just redrawing. I'm figure I can get this tattered group of Marauder Berserkers onto this Spearman and just finish them off. But in come the brave Demigryph Knights of the Empire for one last charge. They will probably have what it takes to win this, but I do have at least the Javelins who get a nice volley in, the charge defense of the Javelins, but again, the Grand Shield of Faith as well as the Reichland Runefang. Look at the stats on these guys, beastly. 57 melee attack. Karl himself is just going to be laughing his head off throughout this fight. Some regrouping infantry, obviously pushing in on the flanks and the rears here. The Javelins have expended their ammo. And sadly, with the Earthblood going down, I just don't think I'm going to have the DPS here to be able to get through. The War Mammoth can obviously maybe put in a few good shots and maybe rout off the Demigryphs, but Karl Franz is just too much. He gets a few attacks in, and even though there's still 3,500 HP on the War Mammoth, the balance of power fades very quickly, and unfortunately my early losses really come back to bite me. You know, I thought I had the Skinwolves in a command group with my heroes, so I completely forgot about them. Look at that, 0 kills, 12 kills. Both my heroes were ganged up on by the Warrior Priest and the Demigryphs. Both my Skinwolves got dealt with. Infantry fight went well for me. The Mammoth did. You know, the Mammoth did what the Mammoth does. It managed to get that Hellblaster off punch through with its mass, with the Demigryphs obviously occupied elsewhere, and pick up the Hellblaster. So that was potentially big, because that Hellblaster could have done a fair bit of damage to the Mammoth, and well, it didn't need to do much, I guess, to my Skinwolves and my Marauder Chieftain. But a great combo there with the flaming attacks on the Demigryph Knights. Obviously they already have, you know, decent stats and obviously an anti-large bonus, but combine that with flaming attacks and the regenerating weakness to fire of the Skinwolves. They just absolutely crushed me. And like I said, Karl had obviously overextended, chasing something. I think it might have been my Shaman Sorcerer. So until I saw him came back, I thought I still had a chance, and I reckon I probably could have won that game if he wasn't in that final fight. Obviously with his Encouragement Aura and the Reikland Runefang buffing the stats. But yeah, too many mistakes in the early game. The Pistoliers did what they needed to do, just sort of, I guess, put a few shots into my infantry and sort of just gave my Marauder Horsemen something to think about, particularly with the Hounds getting terrified early. And yeah, the snowball just kept getting bigger, and my mistakes just sort of come back to bite me in the end when a full health Karl Franz dives down into my midst. But a really good game. I like this Empire list actually against. It's got a lot of good tools for dealing with Norsca. The Hellblaster volley gun is not an artillery piece that you see used very often, but given it shoots a lot of projectiles, I think it's got a place. Doesn't have great range compared to something like a cannon, and its sheer damage output isn't maybe quite as big, but it's good at dealing. It's sort of an all-comers artillery piece. It can deal with infantry well. It can deal with large targets. So cool to see that, and glad I was able to shut it down pretty early. But yeah, good game by Letigo, and thank you all for coming by and checking it out. We'll be back soon with more. Take care.